Hi viewers, today we are going to see Salesforce Business Analyst Practice Part 12, um, discussing about the demonstration how to define the scope of a complex business process and break it down into manageable steps. This topic describes how a business process can be scoped and broken down further for analysis. Process mapping can be done to visually display the steps involved in a process as well as other relevant information. There are different process diagrams or models available for a specific business or purpose. Universal process notations can be used so that the diagram is easily understood by various stakeholders. The resulting process map can then help the business analyst understand process in detail to identify flaws and room for improvement. Scoping a complex business process. Scoping can be used to define the work to be done, who will complete it, how it will be executed, and what the expected outcome is. Process mapping. Process map is a visual representation of the steps involved in a process. It also includes details on who does what and how success can be measured. Process models. Other process models can be used to map process for different industries and purpose. Diagramming notation. The universal process notation allows diagrams to be easily understood by all stakeholders and accessible online. Scoping helps team understand the coverage of a given project or initiative. Five key elements can be used to scope process. Understanding the needs, identify the problem at hand, who will benefit from the solution and other factors relevant to the problem. Opportunity for design. Articulate the opportunity for design. It's important that the assumption made and possible outcome. Problem solving approach. Select the appropriate strategy, design process, and the expertise or experience needed from the team. Project plan. Create a project plan that include the time frame needed, milestones to achieve, and resource required. Measures of success. Identify ways to measure success, the metric needed, and risk or consequence to be considered. Process mapping. A process map is a visual representation of an organization workflow activities. A process map contain an organization's activities and can include who accomplish a specific task, how process are completed, and how success is measured. Relationship. The relationship between steps and inputs of a business shows how the result is achieved. Example process map. The diagram below is part of a bigger process map for a company's hiring process activity. Department had identify hiring need. Person team responsible. Document job description. Department head sales cloud. Position need to be filled. Position post position. Human resource sales cloud, experience cloud. Obtain qualified candidates. Interview and hire. Hiring manager, human resource background check.com sales cloud. Process mapping benefits. Process mapping is a tool that builds understanding and streamline business process. Documentation. A process map can serve as a documentation that the organization can use to gain a better understanding of a specific process. It can also shows how process is affected by other related process. Improvement. Having a process map provide insight to how a process can be improved further. It can also assist in adapting process when there are changes in goals or resource. Efficiency. When information is available and accessible, time to implementation and the risk of miscommunications are reduced. Business process mapping steps. Develop the process map. The order of the steps from beginning to end can be determined first before drawing the diagram. Gather necessary information. Relevant process detailed how to be gathered, such as where the process began. Analyze the process map. The completed process map can be analyzed for um, inefficiencies. Create a team. The individual team include members who are involved in the process and can provide input about it. Identify the process to map. The business analyst should scope the process to be mapped. Develop better steps. Process improvement can be gradually implemented. Manage the process. The improved process can be monitored and optimized further. Process mapping gate questions. Below are gate questions that can be considered when mapping a process. What is the purpose and scope of the map? Asking this question can provide the direction for a map, such as how much detail would be required and how technical it needs to be. How can the steps be defined clearly? Each step should start with the verb and that describe the activity involved. The input and output needed for a process completion should be stated. Which resource are needed? Determine who or what system is involved in an activity and in which capacity. The RACI responsible account consulted and informed model should be considered. Other process model. There are other process diagrams or models that can be used for a specific business or purpose. UPN can also be applied to the capability model. Capability model can shows the context of a specific area or process within the whole business by including the high level process. It is also called an industry blueprint. Detailed process map. A detailed process map is ideal when the details per process steps have to be included along with the associated decision point. It is a flowchart that displays the details of a sub-process. Other process model, SIPOC map. The SIPOC model include suppliers, input, process, output, and customers. The key element of a process can be analyzed when defining the scope of a complex process. It can be created before drilling down to the process. Value stream map. A value stream map can diagram the material and the information needed until the product reaches a customer. It is typically used to record measurement of inputs and outputs and could also be used to identify waste. Universal process notation. Universal process notation can be used to create diagrams that are simple and easy to understand. Activity box. The diagram consists of several activity boxes. They are labeled with the verbal paras that describe the steps or activity resource. The resource in an activity box describe who's responsible and can be marketed with RACI, which stand for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Connecting lines. The activity boxes are connected with lines, and each one is accompanied by a short description of the hand of benefit steps. Universal process notation. Attachment can be added as a supporting information. They may include document, metadata, or matrix related to the activity. Decision lines flowing out of a box represent a decision or outcome that is relevant to the next steps. Levels. One can drill down to the activity box and access a lower level diagram. Application of UPN. The viewer of a diagram can drill down to an activity box and get more details about a sub-process, evaluate candidates and extend offer. The hands-off needed between steps, interview and hire. Hiring managers, a human resource backgroundcheck.com, sales cloud. Prepare for interview, human resource preparing hiring manager to consumer. Perform interview, hiring manager identify qualified candidates. Forms provide allowed interview questions, URLs, backgroundcheck.com. Supporting information can be attached. Forms document interview questions, result, complete recommendation. Universal process notation principle. There are five principles of UPN to keep in mind when mapping a process. Limit boxes. No more than 8 to 10 activity boxes on screen allowed for better focus and the readability. Levels of details. Details can be described at lower level from specific activity box. This allow high level process to be documented as well as more detailed diagram. Universal process notation principle. Supporting information can be added as an attachment. It can provide more context for an activity such as how tedious a specific step is. Access control. Permission to view and edit are controlled by access rights. This ensures that only authorized team members can edit the diagram. Record change. Version control and history of changes should be available at a diagram level. It will be easier to determine when the diagram was last updated and what was changed. These are all the some resource you can use for further studies. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.